We were talking about shoulders a little while ago and it did really well, so here we are with another one. And I would like to make a video dedicated to shoulders in the actual gym so I can show you some of my favorite machines that I like to do. Specifically, one of my favorites is the rear delt. It's the pec deck machine where you put your chest on the machine and you do the rear delt like hoo-yah, you know what I'm saying? Consider subscribing, it really helps my page out. Share it with a friend, like the video, comment below, and tell me how awesome this content is. And as always, thank you for supporting my page, and check me out also on Instagram. And for training online, you can email me or message me for more information on that, specifically in powerlifting. I do compete in powerlifting and I'm the best. And yeah. All right, so we're gonna talk about shoulders. They're really interesting. I find that everybody does train shoulders a little differently, like specifically like your laterals, depending on how you position your hands, can hit different parts of different heads of the shoulder. Obviously, shoulders is genetics. It's also, if you take super supplements, it does grow your shoulders. So, but typically, you can build a good solid foundation with some basic exercises. My first favorite exercise are laterals, of course. Well, let's backtrack. Your delts, your shoulders, it's also called your deltoids. Your deltoids is the scientific term if you're into science. You have 3 heads. Okay, you have your medial head, you have your posterior, and your anterior. Anterior head is often used when you bench press, and anytime you do shoulder like front raises. It's used in any sort of bench shoulder machine. Typically, you're going to use a lot of front delt. A lot of people neglect the rear delt. So your rear delt is this muscle right here, okay? It's common to be underdeveloped because it's something that people don't typically see. What you can do, like I mentioned earlier, is the pec deck. You just, instead of sitting this way, you sit this way and you bada bing, bada boom, you know what I'm saying, baby? So that's the fun is going back to the lateral. Whenever you do laterals, you always want to, now granted, I do it differently sometimes. I mean, I do it different ways. Sometimes I'll do just straight arm. Other times I will have my candlesticks. This is candlesticks position. Thumbs up, okay? Thumbs up, and you're going to pour your cup. So I'm gonna pour in my orange juice. Okay, when I'm pouring my orange juice, I'm using my medial head, really helps to get that part of the shoulder that I really like to do. So let's do some exercises together. All right, so I got my 10-pound dumbbells. Hoo-yah! Okay, so you're gonna start here, and I sometimes, like I said earlier, sometimes I will do straight arm. Notice my hands are facing down like this. That's one way. Or you can do it this way, pouring your cup. Pouring your cup. Okay, the nice thing about pouring your cup is when you pour your cup, you're gonna feel it in your shoulders, like in your delts. At least I feel it a lot. So I like this one a lot. You can, obviously some people like to go really heavy. I'm not a huge fan of going super heavy on delts because your shoulders are a ball and socket joint, meaning it can move in multiple ways, similar to your hip joint. And you don't want to overload too much because it can be a very vulnerable joint. Granted, unless you work your rotator cuff, but obviously I would just suggest doing moderate to medium weight, medium, low to moderate rate. And you really want to focus on the muscle itself. So like I mentioned earlier, the pec deck, this is one of my favorites. Whenever you're doing shoulders, you're always going to get some traps. That's normal, that's typical. And also when you train back, when I'm training back, I get a lot of rear delt. I do a lot of rows. I do a lot of back in general. So anytime you're doing a horizontal row or a vertical row, you're gonna be getting that rear delt. But I purposely like to isolate it. I find that really helps with the development. So again, pec deck, rear delt fly, one of my favorites. The other one that I like to do is a kind of a bent over rear fly. All right, so with the rear fly, I see a lot of people, they will kind of like do this. They will start here and then I'll do this. I don't even know what they're doing, but just don't do that. Try to not do that. You want to really focus on squeezing the rear delt. So if I'm here, you can do pinkies out because we're fancy, or you can do, technically you could do thumbs out. I wouldn't recommend that. But you can do pinkies out this way or candlesticks this way. Candlestick, this is bucket handle, candlestick. So if I do pinkies out this way, I'm going to be getting more rear delt. I'm also going to be getting a lot of traps. I like this method. Some people would have their contention with me and say, well, that's using too much trapezius muscle. Yeah, perhaps, but who doesn't want big traps, okay? Now, not all women want big traps, but that's one way. Pinkies out. Other way, again, is candlestick position and rear delt. With rear delt, the nice thing is you can do it in different angles. So right now, I'm about 45 degrees. You can come up here, you can come up here, and do it different angles, you know, like you're a robot. No, but like the bent over, this one, and then the pec deck. Those are my two favorites. Last exercise I like to do for shoulders, aka the rear delt specifically, or face pulls. So where we're gonna use Mr. Band here, okay? Typically you want to use a cable at the gym and use a band. Now the thing with face pulls that I see a lot of people do is they will kind of use their momentum and pull this way. So it's not typically bad per se, especially if you're trying to train for power. If you're an athlete, like a football player, or a hockey player, or you're a rugby person, you know, that does have some carryover to your sport. But for the sake of just general aesthetics and strength, you want to do it nice and controlled. So whenever I'm pulling, I'm bringing it to my nose. Okay, so we're doing a V formation into the shoulders. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take your band and you're going to pull it to your nose. So like so. So back, pull, back, pull, back, pull, back. Please excuse the bruises from squatting. Okay, so notice when I pull and back, I'm pulling with my thumbs down. There's two ways of doing it. You can pull this way or you can pull this way. I've pulled this way. It's kind of awkward. It's not very comfortable. It's probably not smart to do, but it is one way. You can do pronation. This is supination. This is pronation. So you can do supination. You can also do pronation. Okay, I like pronation because I feel that it's getting more of my rear delt. Whenever you're doing delts or shoulders in general, you want to focus on control. Because when you focus on controlling the motion, you're going to isolate and get more blood into the muscle. And when you get more blood into the muscle, the chances of it growing are higher than if you just kind of mindlessly throw weight around. Now, everyone used to do that. I used to do that. I still kind of do sometimes do that. But you don't want to always do that all the time. You want to make the most use out of your time when you're in the gym and when you're training so that you can get there at your goals safely and as quickly as possible. Right, so that was the video on shoulders. I would like to make a video like this more in the gym. I would just need an actual camera person to help me out and record me. Right now, I'm kind of like, you know, by myself. So, but if I do that, I can show you more of my favorite exercises, how I personally execute them, because everybody kind of executes machines differently, depending on how you place your feet, depending on how you place your hand, the tempo in which you execute them, exercise, all vary person to person. So I've kind of have some tips and tricks up my sleeve that I feel are worth making a video for. So when I go to the gym and have somebody to help me record, then I will surely do that for you. But I hope that video was helpful, specifically on the shoulders, dedicated to that. Shoulders are really simple. You always want to do a lateral, always want to do a raise. You always want to do a rear delt. So important. Your rear delts are like it's literally the backbone of your shoulders, your scapular region, super important. And then of course, you can always do, you know, front raises, but technically you already work your front delt whenever you do bench press or shoulder press or an incline bench or a decline bench. You're always working your anterior delt. So you want to put more emphasis on your rear delt, and then of course your laterals if you want, you know, a nice shoulder cap. Okay, Thank you for watching today's video. For training programs, email me. I would love to help you. I love to help people out in their fitness and nutrition. And full information is down below. Check me out on my Instagram for amazing content. And I'll see you in the next video.